Sylvester Stallone has everything one could possibly dream of: multi-million-dollar paychecks, a beloved wife, and children. Throughout his successful career, he has played more than 80 roles in films, many of which became part of the golden legacy of world cinema. Because of a birth injury, the boy spoke unclearly, as if he had a mouth full of food. His classmates and neighbors from the New York neighborhood with the eloquent name Hell's Kitchen laughed at him and teased him. The future action hero learned to defend himself and got into fights. 14 schools can now be proud that Sylvester Stallone studied at them. "I lived in a world of heroic fantasies, completely unrelated to reality," he recalls about his childhood. Every day, he went to school hoping that something terrible would happen there, and that he would be able to save everyone. In the opinion of the principals, nothing worse than Stallone could happen to their schools. He was mostly expelled for fighting, and once for setting a teacher on fire. They insisted that he was mentally retarded. As his mother Jacqueline said, "I took Sylvester on as an apprentice hairdresser in my beauty salon so that in the future he would have a guaranteed piece of bread." Sly hated the job, and I had to fire him too. He dyed a client green and removed the color from her blonde hair with nail polish remover. After studying dramatic arts in Miami, he finally decided to devote his entire life to acting. But getting into the acting profession was not so easy. To make a living, he had to work at all kinds of jobs before he appeared on television. Sly was a nightclub bouncer, a cleaner of animal cages at a zoo, and a doorman. Film directors refused to hire the actor because of his speech problems. Only after extensive work with a speech therapist did producers and directors begin to show interest in him. In order to change his physique and build, in his free time he began bodybuilding. He trained fanatically, sparing no effort, and built an impressive muscular physique. At the age of 24, Sly got his debut film role, which he prefers not to remember. The actor continued appearing in numerous low-budget films and 2 television series, but he still did not have enough money even to eat properly. Then, looking for a way to make money, he wrote a screenplay himself and tried to sell it. The screenplay turned out to be so successful that he was offered $200,000 for it. But he made a counteroffer: $1 for the screenplay, the lead role in the film, and a small percentage of the box office earnings. And he did not regret it. The film Rocky, released in 1976, made him not only famous but also wealthy. After its phenomenal success, the actor created and starred in a whole series of films that brought him worldwide fame. Among them was the legendary film about a Vietnam War veteran, Rambo. It was already a completely different role for him, a sports drama and a bloody action film in which Stallone appeared before the audience as a Vietnam War veteran obsessed with revenge, an expert in weapons who killed his opponents left and right. The film was incredibly popular even in the USSR and earned $400 million. During his 40-year successful film career, Stallone learned from his own experience that having so much money can be bad for the soul. "At one point, my ego had grown to incredible proportions," the actor admits. "I wanted to rub it in the faces of everyone who had never believed in me before. I bought a golden limousine and a huge mansion in Miami, surrounded myself with bodyguards and, so to speak, friends on the payroll. I even took them with me on vacation. Then I realized there was no point in leaving the house if you were constantly surrounded by the same people who only told you what you wanted to hear. I wasn't learning anything new and had stopped developing. Then my wise wife said, 'That's the problem. Fire them all, sell everything unnecessary, and live like a normal person.'" Stallone followed her advice. He has no cook or driver at home, and no permanent staff. "I have to inflate the tires, fix the faucets, and pick up after the dogs," he boasts. "I walk the streets without security, meeting people. My new friends don't agree with my views, which leads to interesting arguments. I drive my daughters to university, school, and various events myself, although they don't like it. They make me park 2 blocks away from the destination. Otherwise, they threaten to put a paper bag over my head. At home, I'm considered something like a tame, slightly crazy tiger that gets under everyone's feet, growls loudly, but doesn't bite. They see every day how I run around with a scoop and a bag after our Pomeranian. After all that, how could I possibly scare anyone? Stallone received 60 stitches during the filming of Rocky II. As a reminder of tearing his pectoral muscle, he was left with a scar under his right arm. But this did not force Stallone to stop performing his own stunts. As a result, today his body could serve as a textbook for trauma surgeons. During the filming of Rocky III, he suffered a concussion. Rocky IV ended with a blow to the heart, after which Stallone spent a week in the hospital. While working on the final Rambo film, he injured an artery. During the filming of The Expendables, he injured both shoulders and suffered a fracture in a cervical vertebra. They put a steel plate in my back and gave me a note explaining why I set off metal detectors, Sly says. They also warned me that next time I could end up paralyzed. But I consider the injuries I receive on set a good sign. Films where nothing happens to me usually turn out to be failures. That hurts much more. 30 paintings created by Stallone formed the core of an exhibition he brought to Russia. His paintings, valued at between $30,000 and $50,000, are created in his garage. The house is given over to the women, the actor says, but the garage is my untouchable cave, full of paint and junk, where I can turn rap music up to full volume and dance around the canvas. I keep paintings, fishing rods, empty punching bags, and other things there. Inspiration visits Sly most often during moments of crisis or, on the contrary, emotional highs. When Stallone celebrated his 50th birthday, journalists from a weekly publication gave him a very original gift, an album featuring all of the actor's women. There turned out to be no fewer than 595. At the beginning of his career, his romantic adventures were limited by his wife, Sasha Zak, whom he married in 1974, before fame came crashing down on him. At that time, he could hardly believe his luck. Beautiful Sasha, a model who resembled a young Brigitte Bardot, accepted his marriage proposal. The marriage gave Sly 2 sons, Sage and Sergio. Their mother, Sasha, officially announced the end of her career and devoted all her time to raising their sons, especially since the younger one required special care. At the age of 3, he was diagnosed with autism. Sage died of atherosclerosis in 2012. Sasha turned a blind eye to his numerous affairs with models, but she could not forgive his romance with 22-year-old Brigitte Nielsen. In 1985, she filed for divorce and demanded compensation of $33 million. Immediately after the divorce, the actor made his relationship with Brigitte official, but the couple did not remain married for even 2 years. As a farewell, his former wife won a settlement of $1 million from Stallone. And, of course, her demands were much more modest. The couple did not have any children. After the divorce, the actor went wild. His most eventful year was 1988. In 365 days, 88 models passed through his bed, including Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, and Cindy Crawford. In 1990, the now mature Stallone seemed to have finally settled down. He met his fan and model Jennifer Flavin. In an interview, the actor called the girl his ideal, selfless, loving, and incredibly patient. However, 3 years later, Sylvester began an affair with the model Janice Dickinson, which lasted about a year, as well as several other romances. But in 1995, he got down on his knees and begged Jennifer for forgiveness for everything he had done. Now, twice a week, Sly makes sure to give his wife chocolate, and on every holiday she receives little gifts from Cartier or some other jewelry heavyweight. It was only in my 3rd marriage that I realized a woman is always right, Sly admits. At first I fall into the abyss, and then I think. Jennifer thinks first, so she never falls anywhere. So I leave all the important decisions to her and try to keep quiet and not stir things up. Stallone's daughters are serious and responsible young women. Sophia studies mass communications and arts management at the University of Southern California. Sistine is conquering the modeling business, while Scarlett earns medals as a member of her school basketball team. Dad wanted us to be able to stand up for ourselves, Sistine says. He taught us boxing, baseball, and worked out with us. As children, we sometimes thought he was going too far, but thanks to him, we grew up strong. Dad never forbade us from using our fists against school bullies. He insisted that we fight. More than 70 films make up Sylvester Stallone's creative legacy. What can Hollywood offer a person my age today? Sly says. It's a great challenge that I can't wait to take on. I've always wanted to be like Clint Eastwood. Old age doesn't stop him from staying at the top. And as for life's wisdom, I remember my father's last words: don't waste your time and energy on anger. Learn to forgive. I would only add that it's also good to learn as early as possible to get the most enjoyment out of the carousel while it's still spinning, Stallone says.